I'm Mariah here, and she is a really nice horse. But she is a horse that her attention is always bouncing around somewhere else, and she always wants to pay attention to something besides me. And it's really important with her that when I first get on her, to get her attention on me. Don't have to do anything real drastic, nothing real hard. Just kind of steer her around, pull her around to the right, pull her around to the left. Because getting her attention on me is key for a lot of other things falling into place. She has she get really nice and round. She has a really nice trot, really nice lope, pretty good neck rein. But all of that is contingent on her attention being on me. As I'm walking around, you see her, she'll look away one direction, she'll look right, I'll turn left right there. She's kind of wanting to drift left, so I'm going to turn right. Now she's looking at Bob, I'm going to turn right. All those little things are really big with her. I have a rider with spurs, and I'm just touching her a little bit. No, we're not going to go stare at Bob. We're going to turn this way. No, we're going to turn this way. I have I have spur on. I'm just touching her a little bit, asking her to go forward. Not doing anything really hard. She'll ride just fine without spur, but by riding her with spur, I don't have to work as hard. My legs can be quieter, they can be softer. Don't have to come out and bump when she don't want to listen. And steer over here to the left. Ask her to kind of bridle up a little bit. Take a hold of her with both reins. Now she was trying to avoid the rein there. She knows that if she can avoid the rein, she can better do what she wants. Where if I have the reins and I kind of take a hold of her and I round her up and tell her what to do, she more has to listen to what I'm asking her to do. Bumping a little bit harder with my spurs. She pulls on my hands. If I feel her pulling on my hands, I'm bumping a little bit harder. Just, hey, pay attention. I'm telling you to do something. Nothing real drastic. And kind of the whole point of what I wanted to talk about in this video is some horses need a little bit of micromanaging. And some horses, you don't have to micromanage so much. I just rode Ray. She's here for a tune-up, and her owner was here, and we were talking about her. And she's a lot like this horse. Her attention, now see how she's wanting to back up? I'm going to get her head around. And we're going to go forward. Let's go ahead and ask for a trot. Let's put her to work a little bit. So I was riding Ray this morning for her owner, and she is another horse that has to have a little bit of micromanaging. Let's go. Giving you something to do. Kind of like this one. When their attention drifts a little bit, it just keeps encouraging them to keep trying to do something else that they want to do. They're not particularly trying to be bad. She's not trying to get me off, not trying to do anything particularly bad. She just ain't real crazy about being told what to do. She wants to do her own thing. And when you have a horse like that, like Mariah here, or Ray, I don't know why, a lot of times she coughs a couple times when we first get started, and then it clears up. Probably our dust here. And when you have a horse like that, that is constantly kind of challenging you to do what they want to do, it's really important that you micromanage and tell them every step, do this. With your face, look this way. With your back, do this. Because when a horse like this kind of wins a little bit, gets away with a little bit of doing what they want, it just encourages them, hey, I'm going to try a little harder next time. I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it worse. I'm going to try harder. I won last time. I think I can win this time if I try a little harder. And a horse like this can be really frustrating, really aggravating if you let them get ahead of you. You have to kind of outthink them a little bit, get ahead, give them something to do. You notice I got on her and she was pretty good when I got on her, nothing real bad. But then I started asking her to do a little bit and it wasn't that much. And you saw her start to challenge me a little more, a little more, a little more. And then I got to the point where, hey, we're gonna trot. We're gonna make this a little more work. We're gonna do a little more. And now she's kind of trying to pull the reins away from me to look where she wants. But she's not as defiant as she was a minute ago. And it's not really because I'm making her feet move and getting her tired. She can trot like this a couple of hours and not really be tired. It's a matter of I'm being in charge, making her move her feet. Same thing as a lot of the groundwork that I've talked about with some other horses, whether you're making them move their feet or they're making you move your feet. Same principle transferred to the horse. Same thing whether it's on the ground or on their back. I'm making her move her feet, so I'm in charge. She ain't real happy about it. That's some of this kind of head throwing a little bit. And Ray, I'll probably do a video of her next week. She's here for a tune-up. She shows in cow horse. And horses like that really need to be kind of micromanaged. Now on the other end of the spectrum, let's say a horse like Hope. Hope really doesn't need to be micromanaged. She's not really defiant as far as I want to do my own thing. She more has a mindset of show me what you want me to do and get out of my way and I'll do it. So really a horse like her, like Hope, you don't have to micromanage every step. And in a lot of ways, if you do, she's going to get a little bit frustrated. I'm trying to do what you want, but you're not letting me do it. And every horse is a little bit different. And some horses, the two horses I just talked about, are kind of opposite extremes. But there's horses kind of in between too. Let's see. Trigger was one that was in between. That's a Palomino Mustang that I did quite a few videos of. He was one that he would do his own thing if you let him, but you didn't have to really stay on top of him all the time. If he would get a little bit too independent, you just kind of take charge and say, hey, nope, we're not stopping. You just kind of take charge and say, hey, we're going over here. He'd be like, okay, you can make the decisions. I'm okay with that. And Bob's another one that he don't really need to be micromanaged, but once in a while you got to say, hey, we're going to go do this thing. That's Bob standing right there by the fence there. Since my training numbers are down, I've been putting a little bit more riding time on him. Might show him this year. We'll see. So what kind of horse do you have? Do you have one that needs to be micromanaged all the time? Or do you have one you just kind of remind once in a while, I'm in charge, and then you just let them do their thing? And then there's all different levels of that in between. And once you identify what you have and you ride them that way that suits them, you're going to accomplish a little bit more with that horse. If you let this horse, right there, her ears went forward, locked on Bob, I picked up my right rein. You let them get away with that a little bit, then they keep challenging you and trying to get away with a little bit more. It's kind of like the teenager, or really to an extent the younger kid. that is challenging their boundaries, trying to see what they can get away with. And a horse like this can be really good, like Ray can be really good. She's a really good cow horse. Really good in her cow work. Not too crazy about being told what to do in her rein work. So her rein work, you have to really keep her under your thumb and say, this is what we're doing, and kind of dictate to her and find that balance. And then when you do your cow work, you kind of put her in position and throw her away, and she'll do it. And that's a big difference between cow horses and reining horses. Reining horses generally want to be dictated to completely. The really good reining horses want to be dictated to completely. The really good cow horses, you need a little bit of balance there. You need to be able to dictate to them for their reining pattern, but you need to be able to throw them away and let them do their cow work. And cutting horses, on the other hand, they're a horse that you pretty much just put them in front of a cow and they make most of the decisions. They don't really have a mind, typically, that's real accepting of being dictated to. So put in the comments, what kind of horse do you have? And if you have a horse that you need to send for training, message me and we'll talk about it. I have some openings coming up, and we can get your horse in here and work on whatever issues you might be having. Or like Brooks in there, get you showing. Brooks came in having trouble with the right lead. They had been showing him, and developed some right lead issues. And I've identified that as some imbalanced muscle issues. So I'm working on correcting that. And I'll have videos of that out. And with Mariah here, I got Mariah fairly fit. She still could use some more, but she's fairly fit. She needs to stay bridled up better. And see right there, we slowed down and she just kind of fell down on her front end. We're going to do that again. I've got some videos where I talk about improving your downward transitions, and you transition down and then go right back up, and that helps improve your downward transitions. She was a good example just then. She transitioned down and just kind of fell on her front end. I asked for a walk, and she come to a stop so hard that she really couldn't even walk. That was better there. Now her steering, pretty much everything is dependent on her attention. If her attention is on me, it's all nice, it's all there. Steer around this way. Really nice. I'm using a little bit of leg to kind of back up the neck rein. Let's ask for a transition to a trot. A little bit of voice, a little bit of leg. When I transitioned, she turned her head to the right and drifted off to the right. I'll just pick her up and steer around. It's all about her attention. Her attention needs to be on the rider. She's going to be going home pretty soon, and the owner has come and ridden her and taken a couple lessons on her, and that's a big part of this video that I'm doing right here. It is for you, the viewers, that watch the transition of the horses and the improvement. But a big part, better downward transition, a big part of the purpose of this video is for the owner to, when she's having an issue with the horse, to look back and re-watch this video and say, oh, okay, now I see, now this is what I need to do. I get a lot of horses in from all over the country. Her owner is in Virginia. So these videos are a good tool for the owner to look back and for reference. And her owner is going to be taking video lessons with me. If that's something you're interested in, you can message me about that. I actually recorded 3 video lessons this morning and sent them off. They were in New Zealand. So that's a good option. If you're not local to me, which most of you that watch the videos are not local to me, video lessons are always an option. And we might even could do a video lesson, talk about what your horse is doing, talk about what your horse needs before we discuss it coming into training. And might be able to help you out that way. That might work. If you have some tools and taking some lessons, you might be able to fix the issue yourself instead of sending it to training. Just depends on the horse, your riding ability, and what's going on with your horse. So this is Mariah. I'll put a link somewhere here to her playlist on YouTube. Until next time, thank you for watching.